You're no longer my daughter. My mother's words sliced through the conference room like a blade, her pen scratching an angry signature across the restraining order. Her eyes, so like mine but colder now, refused to meet my gaze. I should feel something grief, perhaps, or regret. Instead, there's only a strange lightness spreading through my chest. Freedom. After 52 years of being Eleanor Morgan, dutiful daughter and eternal family ATM, I am finally just Ellie. I hope you're happy in your precious house, all alone. She spits, gathering her designer purse, the one I paid for last Christmas when her credit card was maxed out again. I'd rather be alone than exploited. I hear myself say, my voice steadier than I expected. Across the polished conference table, my father stares at his hands, shoulders slumped in defeat. My sister Becky, mascara streaking her face, stands dramatically, every inch the victim she's always portrayed herself to be. My children will never forgive you, she declares, voice breaking on cue. I think of Ashley and Tyler, waiting outside with Bennett's assistant, finally free from being props in their mother's emotional theater. Your children, I say quietly, are playing happily with age-appropriate toys instead of being used as emotional weapons. Maybe think about that. How did we get here? How did my family, the people who should love me most, become the ones I needed legal protection from? The answer lies in 25 years of receipts, IOUs, and bank transfers. In the manila folder that saved me. In the words I finally found the courage to say, no, not anymore. Not ever again. Flashback 3 weeks earlier, the late afternoon sun streams through my newly installed bay windows, casting golden light across the reclaimed wood floors I'd spent 3 weekends refinishing. Each ray illuminates another detail of the home I've created for myself: vintage brass handles sourced from an antique shop in New Hampshire, hand-painted Mexican tiles in the kitchen backsplash, the watercolor I'd splurged on at that gallery in Boston. At 52, I've finally built my sanctuary. After 25 years managing IT projects and 15 people under me, I've earned this every square inch bought with overtime hours and skipped vacations. My early retirement fund is healthy. My garden is beginning to bloom, and for the first time in decades, I'm learning what it means to put myself first. The doorbell shatters my peaceful moment. Through the security camera, I see them all crowded on my front porch, my mother Judith, lips pinched into that familiar disapproving line. My father Richard hovering anxiously behind her. My sister Rebecca, it's Becky now, Eleanor, don't be so formal, dabbing theatrically at her eyes, and my teenage niece Ashley and 12-year-old nephew Tyler fidgeting restlessly. I consider not answering. In the 3 months since I bought this townhouse, they visited exactly once for the housewarming party where my mother commented that my choice of paint colors was a bit ambitious for someone like you. But old habits die hard. I open the door, and my mother pushes past me into the foyer. Aren't you going to invite us in? She says, as if I hadn't just done exactly that by opening the door. The others follow like a wave breaking through a dam. I'll make tea, I offer automatically, falling into my usual role of peacekeeper, caretaker, problem solver. Don't bother, my mother says, settling herself onto my carefully chosen cream sectional. This won't take long. Becky lets out a theatrical sob. Greg left me. He just left, cleaned out our accounts and everything. I blink in surprise. Greg was many things: impatient, sometimes brusque, but a thief? That didn't sound like the brother-in-law I'd known for 15 years. I'm so sorry, I begin. Eleanor, my mother cuts in, using my full name like she always does when delivering pronouncements. Your sister needs your house. The world tilts slightly. What? She's homeless, my father adds, as if that explains everything. The kids need stability. I look around at my living room, at the life I've built plank by plank, paycheck by paycheck. But this is my house, I say slowly, hearing the absurdity of having to state something so obvious. I just finished renovating. My mother waves her hand dismissively. Oh, the renovations. Always with the renovations. Your sister has actual problems, real ones. You can just rent somewhere else. You're single. You don't need all this space. Ashley tugs at my sleeve. Auntie Ellie, Mommy says we're going to live in your pretty house. Something cold and hard forms in my stomach. Nobody's living in my house, I say firmly, though my hands have started to shake. I can help Becky look for apartments. Don't be selfish, my father interrupts, his voice taking on that disappointed tone I've heard my entire life. This is family. Family helps family. The last straw, I have helped. The words burst out before I can stop them, decades of suppressed frustration behind them. I've always helped. Who paid for Becky's essential oils business last year? Who covered mom's cruise when her credit card was maxed out? I see the quick, warning glance my mother gives my father. They've always communicated this way, silent signals that meant shut her down. That was different, Becky sniffles, her tears magically subsiding now that she needs to argue. Those were just loans. This is about my children. My mother stands up, straightening her designer blouse, the one I recognized from Nordstrom's spring collection, the one I knew she couldn't afford on my father's modest pension. My father, who had spent his career as an accountant but somehow never managed our family finances well, reaches into his jacket and pulls out a folded paper. He lays it on my dining table, the one I'd restored myself over countless weekends, sanding away years of neglect to reveal the beautiful grain beneath. We've prepared an eviction notice, he says, not quite meeting my eyes. To make it official, you have 30 days. I pick up the paper with numb fingers. It's clearly printed from some template they found online, full of typos and missing crucial legal information. But the intent behind it, the sheer audacity of what they're trying to do, makes my chest tight. This isn't legal, I manage to say. You can't evict me from a house I own. Don't be dramatic, Eleanor, my mother sighs. We're not evicting you. We're just redistributing family resources to where they're needed most. Becky has children. Yeah, Becky chimes in, suddenly looking less tearful and more calculating. And your guest room is bigger than my old master bedroom. I stare at them. My mother's expectant face, my father's studied avoidance, Becky's growing excitement as she points out to her kids where their toys could go. They truly believe they could just take my house, my sanctuary, everything I've worked for. A memory flashes through my mind. I'm 16, babysitting for free while my parents take 14-year-old Becky shopping for her homecoming dress. We'll get you something next year, they promised. But next year came, and they'd forgotten. Just like they'd forgotten my college application fees but found money for Becky's cheerleading camp. Just like they'd forgotten my 30th birthday but thrown Becky a lavish party for her 28th. You need to leave, I say quietly. Eleanor, my father starts, using his accountant voice, the one that always made me feel like I was a mathematical error in need of correction. Now, my voice is stronger. Get out of my house. Well, my mother gathers her designer purse. I see you need time to process this. We'll give you a day to come to your senses, but remember, 30 days. She taps the paper on the table. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. They file out, Becky pausing in the doorway. I was thinking of painting the living room blue, she says, as if I hadn't just ordered them to leave. This beige is so boring. I close the door behind them and lean against it, my legs barely holding me up. Through the window, I can see them getting into their cars, already discussing my house as if it's theirs. The eviction notice sits on my table like a declaration of war. The breaking point continued. I stare at the eviction notice until the words blur. My phone buzzes. 3 texts from Becky about paint samples and whether I'd be leaving the curtains. I turn it face down on the table and walk to my home office. The filing cabinet in the corner holds more than just work contracts. I pull out a thick manila folder, my hands steady now. Inside is every receipt, every bank transfer, every hastily scribbled IOU from the past decade. I'd kept them out of habit, the same meticulous attention to detail that had earned me my senior position at the tech firm. Organization and documentation skills I developed as the responsible child in a family of irresponsible adults. My mother had been a school teacher before early retirement, always talking about shaping young minds, but never quite managing to manage her credit cards. My father, the accountant who couldn't account for where his 401k had gone, always blaming market forces rather than his own poor choices. And Becky, my beautiful, charming sister who drifted from job to job, man to man, always landing on her feet because someone I usually meet was there to catch her. I pick up my phone and call Vanessa, my friend since college days. Her voice comes through on the first ring. Girl, you sound terrible. What happened? I tell her everything, my voice cracking only once. They did what? Vanessa's outrage is comforting. Please tell me you're not actually considering it. Of course not, but no buts. Remember last Christmas when Becky borrowed your car and returned it with an empty tank and a dented fender? Or when your mom guilt-tripped you into paying for their vacation because your father works so hard? That man hasn't worked in 3 years, Ellie. I spread the papers across my desk. I have records of everything they've borrowed, never paid back a cent. How much? I do a quick calculation. Over $230,000. There's a moment of stunned silence. Jesus, Ellie. I know. I pick up a note in Becky's loopy handwriting. I owe you $3,000 for business startup. Thanks, sis. 3,000. That was for her essential oils thing. She sold everything at a loss and blamed the market. And now they want my house. Vanessa's voice hardens. Hell no. You need a lawyer. They're family. Family doesn't try to steal your house. What's next? Your kidney? My phone buzzes again. A text from my mother. Becky's crying because you're being so difficult. Think of the children. The children? I say to Vanessa. They keep using Ashley and Tyler as leverage. I pause, remembering how tired my niece had looked, how sullen compared to the bright, curious girl I once knew. How much Tyler had withdrawn over the past year. You know what's best for those kids? Seeing their mother face consequences for once. Has anyone even verified Greg left her penniless? I hesitate. No. They just said, call Greg. I couldn't possibly. Watch me. Keys click on Vanessa's end. He's still connected to my cousin on Facebook. Here we go. Recent post. Finalizing divorce settlement, trying to be fair despite everything. Doesn't sound like someone who cleaned out the accounts. Another buzz. My father. Your mother's very upset. You're tearing this family apart. I look at the stack of IOUs. They really think I'll cave because I always have. A memory surfaces. My mother at my college graduation, saying, it's a shame you chose computer science instead of teaching. You would have had summers off to help with Becky's kids. I'd been single and childless at 22, but somehow my future had already been mapped out as the family support system. They've always treated me like their personal ATM. I say, my voice hardening. But this, trying to take my home, acting like I owe it to them. So what are you going to do about it? Vanessa's question hangs in the air. I pick up the pathetic excuse for an eviction notice, then look at my folder of evidence, a decade of financial abuse documented in black and white. I'm going to show them exactly who they're dealing with. The counterattack. After hanging up, I send a brief email to Catherine Rodriguez's office, attaching scans of the eviction notice and a few choice IOUs. Catherine Akay to her clients had been the senior partner at the law firm I'd helped during a devastating cyber attack last year. She'd given me her personal number, said if I ever needed anything, call her. Her response comes within minutes. In meetings all day, but this is outrageous. Call my cell at 5 p.m. Sharp. We'll fix this. My phone buzzes again. A family group text from my mother. Dinner tomorrow to discuss Eleanor's move-out timeline. 6 p.m. Sharp. Don't be late. I don't respond. Instead, I make coffee and start scanning every document, every message, every manipulative text. 25 years of being the family bank, documented in exhaustive detail. The kind of detail that had earned me Employee of the Year 3 times running at my firm, that had allowed me to accumulate enough to retire early at 55 before they tried to take even that from me. By the time 5 p.m. rolls around, I have a complete digital record of their exploitation. The eviction notice still sits on my table, a symbol of their ultimate entitlement. They thought it was their trump card. They have no idea it's about to become mine. My phone shows 4:59 p.m. I pick it up, Kate's number ready. Time to show my family what happens when you push too far. Kate's voice is exactly as I remembered. Calm, precise, with an undercurrent of steel. Her slight Latino accent becomes more pronounced when she's angry, and I can hear it now. Ellie, I've been reviewing what you sent. Tell me everything. I laid out chronologically, starting with their ambush and ending with Becky's impromptu exterior design consultation. Kate listens without interrupting, though I hear her pen scratching notes. Let me be clear, she says when I finish. They presented you with a fake eviction notice for property you own outright? Yes, they found some template online. And your sister is claiming her ex-husband left her destitute? That's what they say. Interesting. More scratching. Because I just had my assistant do some preliminary research. Your sister's ex-husband filed all his divorce paperwork properly. The settlement includes a substantial alimony payment and half their marital assets. I sit up straighter. So she's not homeless? No, unless she's managed to burn through a considerable sum in record time. She pauses. Now, about these loans. I have everything documented. Dates, amounts, their promises to repay, which they never did. Not a cent. And the total is $230,412, plus interest if we're counting that. Kate lets out a low whistle. We're definitely counting that, Ellie. Do you know why I took your call immediately? Because I helped with the cyber attack? Partially, but mainly because I remember how you handled that crisis. Methodical, thorough, kept perfect records. I see that wasn't a one-off trait. I glance at my meticulously organized folder. I just like things documented. I don't add that my childhood had taught me that documentation was the only defense against gaslighting, against my mother's convenient memory that forgot promises as soon as they became inconvenient, against my father's revisionist history that painted me as always the difficult one, the selfish one. That attention to detail is about to pay off. Here's what we're going to do. For the next 20 minutes, Kate outlines her strategy. With each point, I feel my spine straightening, my confidence growing. I'll have the first draft ready tomorrow, she says. But Ellie, I need you to do something important tonight. What's that? Nothing. Nothing at all. Don't respond to their messages. Don't attend their dinner. Don't engage in any way. Can you do that? My phone buzzes with another text from my mother. Your silence is very immature. 52 years of conditioning screams at me to respond, to apologize, to make peace. But something new, something that feels like self-respect whispers louder. Yes, I say firmly, I can do that. Good. Because tomorrow we're going to teach them about consequences. After hanging up, I order takeout and watch my phone light up with increasingly demanding messages. Becky, I need your paint samples by tomorrow. Mother, this behavior is exactly why we worry about your judgment. Father, your mother can't sleep because of this. Around midnight, my Aunt Patricia, Patty, calls. Unlike the rest of my family, Aunt Patty had always been somewhat reasonable, a retired professor who'd chosen independence over the family's expectations. I let the call go to voicemail. Her message is predictably guilt-laden. Ellie, honey, everyone's so worried. Just come to dinner tomorrow, and we can work this out like family. I delete it, turn off my phone, and sleep more peacefully than I have in years. The Declaration of Independence. The next morning, Kate's email arrives exactly at 9 a.m. The attached letter is a masterpiece of legal precision. It addresses my parents and Becky by their full legal names. It references specific laws they violated. It details every loan with dates and amounts, including calculated interest. The final paragraph is particularly satisfying. Furthermore, my client demands immediate cessation of all harassment and trespassing attempts. Any future unauthorized visits to her property will result in immediate legal action. You have 10 business days to propose a reasonable repayment schedule for the outstanding debt of $230,412, plus applicable interest. Failure to respond will result in formal legal proceedings. I read it 3 times, my smile growing wider each time. One more thing, Kate says when I called to approve it. I had my investigator do some digging. Want to know what your sister spent her divorce settlement on? Tell me. A 2-week spa retreat in Arizona. First-class flights. She got back 3 days before showing up at your door. I think about her tears, her claims of destitution, her children supposedly facing homelessness. Another memory surfaces. Becky at 16, crying dramatically because our parents couldn't afford the designer jeans every girl in school had until they somehow found the money by canceling my college visit that same weekend. Send the letter, I say, surprising myself with the steel in my voice. Already done. Certified mail, delivery confirmation required. They should receive it right about now, actually. I imagine their faces as they read it. My mother's righteous indignation crumbling, my father's false confidence evaporating, Becky's paint swatches dropping from her manicured fingers. Kate, I say, thank you. Don't thank me yet. This is just the beginning. They're not going to take this well. I know. Are you ready for that? I look around my beautiful home, my sanctuary that I built through years of hard work, every inch of it earned, every detail chosen with care. Yes, I say, I'm ready. Good. Keep your phone on. The fireworks should start any minute now. As if on cue, my phone starts buzzing. The war has begun. The first call comes exactly 17 minutes after Kate's letter would have arrived, my mother. I let it ring. Then my father. Ignored. Becky, straight to voicemail. They cycle through like this for an hour before my Aunt Patty's number appears. Unlike the others, Patty had always been something of a rebel in our family, choosing an academic career over marriage, travel over settling down. Though she never directly intervened in our family dynamics, she'd occasionally slip me knowing looks at holiday gatherings, silent acknowledgments of the dysfunction we both recognized. I pick up. Ellie, her voice is hushed, conspiratorial. I'm at your parents' house. You need to know what's happening. I can imagine. No, you really can't. A door closes in the background. Your mother is absolutely apoplectic. I've never seen her like this. She's been pacing the living room for 30 minutes, waving that letter around like a weapon. Despite everything, I feel a flutter of satisfaction. What about Dad? He looks like he's seen a ghost, keeps muttering about his retirement fund. A pause. Ellie, the amount in that letter. Is it accurate? Down to the last penny. I have records of everything. Your mother's claiming you made it all up. Of course she is. I open my laptop, where I'd organized all the evidence. Would she like to explain the cruise tickets I paid for, or the check I wrote for Dad's golf club membership? Patty is quiet for a moment. And Becky just got back from a luxury spa retreat in Arizona, first class all the way. What? Patty's whisper turns sharp. But she told everyone Greg left her penniless. She lied like she always does. Through the phone, I hear a crash, followed by my mother's voice. This is extortion. My own daughter. Hold on. Patty murmurs. More background noise. Then your mother just threw her favorite vase at the wall, the one you bought her last Christmas. Fitting. Becky's here now, too. She's, oh my. Patty's voice drops even lower. She's having what I can only describe as a tantrum, screaming about her children's future. Your mother's encouraging it, and Dad's still doing his ghost impression. Oh wait, he's finally speaking. He's asking your mother how they're going to pay it back. She's not taking that well at all. I hear my mother's distant shriek. Pay it back? Pay it back? She's our daughter. She owes us. The words hit me like a physical blow. There it is, the naked truth behind decades of manipulation. In their minds, I owed them. My existence was a debt I could never repay. No wonder nothing I ever did was enough. Ellie, Patty says. I should tell you, they're talking about calling their own lawyer. Good. They should. You're not worried? Kate already checked. They can't afford any lawyer who could challenge this. More background chaos. Then Patty's urgent whisper. Becky's calling Greg. Oh dear. She's demanding more money from him to fight this injustice. He's laughing at her. I can hear him laughing through the phone. I can't help but smile. Greg had put up with Becky's drama for 15 years. He probably felt vindicated. Your mother's now saying she'll sell her jewelry collection, Patty reports. The one I helped her insure. Good idea. Ellie, Patty hesitates. I know they've always favored Becky, I know they've taken advantage, but this is nuclear. No, Aunt Patty, this is consequences. A door slams in the background, followed by more shouting. Patty sighs. Becky just announced she's going to drive to your house. Your mother's getting her car keys too. Perfect. Kate already filed a harassment warning with the police. If they show up, they'll be arrested for trespassing. You've really thought this through. I learned from the best. They taught me all about planning and manipulation. I just got better at it than they expected. Another crash, more screaming. Patty's voice turns urgent. I have to go. Your mother's talking about calling every relative in the family directory. Brace yourself. Thanks for the warning. The escalation. After hanging up, I send a quick text to Kate. They receive the letter. Reaction exactly as expected. Aunt Patty reports chaos. Her response is immediate. Good. Let them spiral. Every inappropriate reaction strengthens our position. My phone starts buzzing again. Distant relatives I hadn't spoken to in years, probably already getting my mother's version of events. I switch it to silent and make myself tea in my peaceful kitchen. A text from Vanessa. Just got a crazy call from your mom. Told her I've watched you bail them out for years and hung up. You okay? I look out my window just in time to see my mother's car screech to a halt outside. Becky's right behind it. They look up at my house, faces twisted with rage. I calmly pick up my phone and dial 911. Hello, yes. I'd like to report trespassers at my property. There's already a harassment warning filed. Through the window, I watch my mother's face change as police sirens wail in the distance. For the first time in my life, I see real fear in her eyes. The tea in my hand is still hot, still perfect, just like my victory. The police are surprisingly understanding. They escort my mother and Becky off my property with a formal warning while I watch through my security cameras. Officer Diaz's body language says everything. She's seen this type of family drama before. My phone buzzes with a text from her after they leave. Warning officially logged. Call immediately if they return. Then comes the emotional artillery. First, the voicemails. My mother's voice trembling with practiced devastation. How could you do this to your own mother after everything we've sacrificed for you? Becky somehow crying and screaming simultaneously. My children will be traumatized. Is that what you want, to traumatize innocent children? My father attempting his stern authority voice but sounding scared. This isn't how we raised you. Call off this lawyer nonsense immediately. Then the flying monkeys arrive. Aunt Cassandra, my mother's younger sister and devoted acolyte, calls first. Ellie, sweetie, this has all gone too far. Your mother is beside herself. Is she beside herself about the $230,000 she owes me? Money isn't everything. This is family. Funny how that argument only works in their favor. She gasps. You've changed. You've become cold. No, I've become clear-sighted. There's a difference. Next comes the social media assault. Becky posts a heavily filtered photo of herself with Ashley and Tyler, all wearing their most miserable expressions. The caption is a masterpiece of manipulation. Sometimes the people who hurt you most are the ones you trusted most. My children and I are facing homelessness because of family betrayal. Prayer warriors needed. The comments flood in. OMG girl, you're so strong. What kind of monster would do this to children? Family should come first. I screen capture everything and send it to Kate. Her response. Perfect. Every post strengthens our harassment case. Don't respond. My mother tries a new approach, sending an email that is clearly meant to be forwarded to every relative. My dearest daughter, my heart breaks as I write this. Your father and I have always supported your independence, but this betrayal. We only wanted to help your sister in her time of need. Now you're demanding money we don't have, threatening us with lawyers. Where did we go wrong in raising you? What happened to the sweet little girl who used to bake cookies with me? I forward it to Vanessa, who replies, pretty sure that sweet little girl was actually Becky. You were the one they made do their taxes. The truth of that hits home. I've never baked cookies with my mother. I'd been too busy helping my father with household accounts or covering Becky's bounce checks. Even in her manipulations, my mother confuses me with the golden child. A memory surfaces. I'm 10 years old, sitting at the kitchen table with my father's tax forms spread before me, my math skills already better than his. My mother walks past, ruffling Becky's hair as she plays with her dolls. Your sister is so creative, she tells me. You're a practical one. Not smart. Not special, just useful. My phone lights up with a call from an unknown number. It's Greg, Becky's ex-husband. Ellie? Finally got your number from my lawyer. Listen, Becky's been calling me nonstop demanding more money to fight your evil schemes. Thought you should know she got over $1 million in this settlement last month. Thanks, Greg. I had a feeling she wasn't exactly destitute. She blew through 100,000 at some spa resort. Now she's playing victim again. He pauses. For what it's worth, I'm glad someone's finally standing up to them. I tried to get Becky to be more responsible with money during our marriage, but your parents always undermine me. Your dad actually told me once that Wilson women don't need to worry about budgets. I think about my father, the accountant who somehow never applied his professional knowledge to his personal life, who taught Becky that money would always materialize when needed because I was the magical ATM making it appear. What about Ashley and Tyler? I ask, genuinely concerned about my niece and nephew. Greg sighs. They're caught in the middle, as usual. Ashley's starting to see through her mother's act. That's why Becky's been keeping her on such a tight leash lately. Tyler still believes everything his mom says. Another pause. I'm trying to get more custody, but you know how the courts favor mothers. After we hung up, I check my email. 3 messages from my father, each with increasingly desperate subject lines. We need to talk. Your mother can't sleep. Our retirement fund. I open the last one. Ellie, the amount your lawyer is demanding would wipe out our savings. Please be reasonable. What about our retirement? What about your sister's children? Think about the family's future. I think about my own future, the one they tried to steal. My house, my sanctuary, my financial security. The turning point. The doorbell rings. Through the camera, I see Aunt Patty holding a paper bag. I brought wine, she says when I open the door, and information. Over glasses of Cabernet, she fills me in. Your mother's called every relative who might have money to lend them. No takers. Your father's looking into reverse mortgages. And Becky, she takes a long sip. Becky's telling everyone she's going to sue you for emotional distress. Kate will love that. Ellie, Patty sets down her glass. I owe you an apology. All these years, I watched them take advantage of you. I never said anything. You're saying something now. Yes, I'm saying something now. She smiles sadly. They never thought you'd fight back. That was their biggest mistake. Why didn't they treat me the same as Becky? The question slips out, one I've held inside for decades. Patty considers this, swirling her wine thoughtfully. Your mother always saw herself in Becky a pretty, social, emotionally volatile. And your father. I think he resented how easily you grasped concepts that took him years to master. She reaches across the table, covering my hand with hers. But there's more to it, Ellie. Some parents. They categorize their children from birth. Becky was designated the special one who needed protection. You were labeled the strong one who could handle anything. It wasn't about love, really. It was about roles. So I was typecast as the family workhorse. Exactly. And once they put you in that box, they couldn't see you any other way. Her eyes, so like my mother's but warmer, meet mine. But you never belonged in that box, Ellie. You were just a child who deserved the same love and support as your sister. A lump forms in my throat. In 52 years, no one in my family has ever acknowledged this fundamental injustice. My phone buzzes again. Another tearful voicemail from my mother. I delete it without listening. They still think they can break me, I say. Patty reaches for the wine bottle. Then they clearly don't know you at all. As we pour second glasses, my security system pings. Becky is driving past again, slowly photographing my house. I pick up my phone to call the police again. The war of attrition is on, but this time I'm not the one being worn down. The confrontation? Kate's call comes early Monday morning. They've hired a lawyer, if you can call him that. How bad? He sent me a rambling email about family obligations and moral duties. Clearly fresh out of law school. Want to hear the best part? Tell me. He's demanding we drop everything in exchange for, quote, a sincere apology and future considerations. I laugh, a sound so foreign to my own ears that it startles me. When was the last time I truly laughed? Future considerations. I've sent back a formal response. They have until Friday to present a reasonable repayment plan or we file suit. My doorbell rings. Through the camera, I see Becky standing there with Ashley and Tyler. Kate, I have to go. Becky's here with the kids. Record everything. I activate my phone's recording app and open the door. Becky has dressed for the occasion in what I recognize as her church outfit, modest floral dress, light makeup, hair pulled back. It's her good mother costume, the one she wears when she wants something from the PTA or needs to impress a teacher. Kids, Becky announces dramatically, say goodbye to Auntie Ellie's house, the house she won't share with you even though you're homeless. Ashley, looking mortified, glances at me apologetically. At 17, with her father's analytical mind and her mother's expressive eyes, she's caught between worlds. Tyler, still baby-faced at 12, stares at his shoes. But Mom, Ashley says quietly, aren't we staying at Grandma's? Becky's face tightens. Ashley, what did I tell you about speaking out of turn? Now cry for Auntie Ellie. Show her how sad you are. That's enough. I keep my voice level. You're trespassing again. The police have already. The police. Becky shrieks, pulling out her phone. Perfect. Film this, kids. Show everyone how mean Auntie Ellie calls the police on children. I press my emergency contact. Officer Diaz answers immediately. Ms. Morgan, another incident? Using her children as props this time. Units are already nearby. Hold tight. Becky is live streaming now. Tears flowing perfectly. My heartless sister is threatening me with police. My babies are traumatized. Tyler tugs her sleeve. Mom, I need to pee. Not now. Mommy's making content. Sirens wail in the distance. Becky's face lights up with perverse excitement. Yes, everyone watch. See how they persecute a single mother. I look at Ashley, who's staring at her mother with a mixture of embarrassment and resignation. Our eyes meet, and I see something there, understanding, perhaps even solidarity. Two police cars pull up. Officer Diaz steps out, looking tired. Ms. Wilson, we've discussed this. There's an active harassment warning. I'm just visiting family with a live stream. Officer Diaz nods at her phone. This is your final warning. Next time means rest. But my children are being used as emotional weapons. Officer Diaz finishes firmly. Don't make us call child services. That threat lands. Becky's stream cuts off instantly. Come on, kids. Your aunt clearly hates you. But Mom, Ashley protests, a spark of rebellion in her eyes. You said we were just making a video to get money from Ashley. Car now. After they leave, Officer Diaz turns to me. We've documented everything. Your lawyer will want this footage. I nod gratefully, still processing Ashley's unfinished sentence. Get money from whom? From followers? From my parents? From me? The realization that my niece and nephew have become props in an elaborate emotional blackmail scheme makes my stomach turn. The final showdown, Friday, arrives with a sense of inevitability. Kate's conference room feels like a courtroom. My parents and Becky sit across the massive oak table, their budget lawyer fidgeting with his tie. They've brought Ashley and Tyler again, a move Kate had predicted and prepared for. First, Kate says, her Latino accent more pronounced in professional settings. The children need to wait outside with my assistant. This isn't appropriate for them. They're part of this. Becky protests. They're victims. They're props. Kate corrects, and if you continue using them this way, I'll be obligated to report it. After some theatrical resistance, Ashley and Tyler are led out to the children's area Kate had set up. Their relief is visible. Ashley catches my eye as she leaves, the ghost of a smile on her face. Now, Kate begins spreading documents across the table. Let's discuss the harassment first. Harassment? My mother's voice hits that familiar high pitch. We're the ones being harassed with these ridiculous demands. Kate clicks a remote. The wall screen lights up with a compilation. Becky's live stream, my mother with the megaphone, their cars circling my house, the social media posts, the GoFundMe page. Mr. Jenkins, Kate addresses their lawyer. I assume you've advised your clients about the legal implications of these actions? The young lawyer tugs his tie again. We, maintain these were attempts at family reconciliation. Interesting interpretation. Kate plays the clip of Becky coaching her children to cry on command. My father shifts uncomfortably. We were desperate. You're trying to bankrupt us. No. I say, speaking for the first time. I'm asking you to repay what you borrowed. Borrowed? My mother laughs sharply. Family helps family. We never thought you'd be so petty as to keep track. I study my mother's face, the carefully maintained makeup that doesn't quite hide her age, the designer scarf I'm certain came from my credit card last Mother's Day. For the first time, I see her clearly, a woman who spent her life manipulating others to avoid facing her own failures and fears. Actually, Kate presses a button. Images fill the screen. Bank transfers, IOUs, emails promising repayment. Your daughter, Kate continues, has documented everything. Every loan, every promise, every excuse. Their lawyer leans forward, finally looking worried. Perhaps we could discuss a reasonable settlement. The time for negotiation was before the harassment campaign. Kate cuts in. Now, here are your options. She slides documents across the table. Option 1. You sign this agreement to repay the full amount with interest on a structured payment plan. You also sign this restraining order, agreeing to cease all contact unless initiated by Ellie. Or, my father asks weakly. Or we go to court, where I'll present everything. The loans, the harassment, the attempted emotional exploitation of minors, the fraudulent GoFundMe, the false claims about Mr. Wilson's settlement. Shall I continue? Becky bursts into tears, real ones this time. This isn't fair. I'm your sister. I think of all the times I'd covered her expenses, babysat her children, defended her to friends who saw through her act. Was I your sister when you tried to steal my house? We weren't stealing, my mother protests. We were redistributing. Maria, their lawyer interrupts, looking pained. Please stop talking. Kate pushes the agreements closer. You have 10 minutes to decide. Court will be public record, by the way. Every loan, every lie, every manipulation, all available for everyone to see. My father reaches for the papers. My mother slaps his hand away. Richard, don't you dare. She's bluffing. She wouldn't really. I have nothing to lose, I say quietly. Do you? The room falls silent. 10 minutes stretches like taffy. Finally, their lawyer whispers something to them. My father picks up a pen with trembling fingers. This will ruin us, my mother says, her voice breaking. Like trying to steal my house would have ruined me, I reply. One by one, they sign. My mother last, her signature angry and sharp. Excellent, Kate says. Now, about the restraining order. You're no longer my daughter, my mother spits, signing that document too. I hope you're happy in your precious house, all alone. I'd rather be alone than exploited. Becky stands up, mascara running. My children will never forgive you. Your children, I reply, are outside playing happily with age-appropriate toys instead of being used as emotional weapons. Maybe think about that. They file out, defeated and bitter. Through the conference room window, I watch Ashley and Tyler reluctantly leave their games to join their mother. Their genuine smiles fade on cue. As they reach the elevator, Ashley turns back, her eyes finding mine through the glass. She mouths something that looks like, I'm sorry, before the doors close. Aftermath. Well, Kate says, gathering the signed documents. That went exactly as expected. Will they actually pay? They don't have a choice. The payments will be automatically deducted. If they default, we can place liens on their assets. She pauses. Are you okay? I watch my family disappear into the elevator. My mother's rigid back, my father's slumped shoulders, Becky's dramatic sniffles. I feel. I search for the word. Free, I say finally. I feel free. Freedom, Kate says, her own voice softening with understanding, often comes at a price. They set the price, I reply. I just finally sent them the bill. Outside, the summer sun is bright and clean. I walk to my car alone, but for the first time in my life, alone feels like a choice rather than a punishment. The first automatic payment hits my account on schedule. The second, too. By the third, my mother has canceled her country club membership, and my father has taken a part-time job at a hardware store. Vanessa brings wine to celebrate. Have you seen Becky's latest posts? I'm blocked. She's selling her designer bags, claims she's embracing minimalism. Vanessa scrolls through her phone. Oh, and she's working at that boutique in the mall. The one she used to say was beneath her. My doorbell rings. Through the camera, I see Aunt Patty with a small package. These arrived at my house, she says, handing me a bundle of letters. They're trying to get around the restraining order. I recognize my mother's handwriting, my father's, Becky's. Have you read them? Didn't need to. Judith called to make sure I knew what they said. More guilt, more accusations. She's telling everyone you've destroyed the family. And what do you tell her? That she destroyed it herself long before you fought back. My phone buzzes, a text from Officer Diaz. Thought you should know. Your sister's been warned about driving past your house again. They're still trying. Of course they are, I tell Patty. But look at me. Renovating my garden, starting that coding program for girls, living my life. That's what really drives them crazy. The payments are killing them, I add. Dad asked his sister Cassandra for a loan. She refused. Good. Let them learn about consequences. A car slows outside Becky again, right on schedule. But this time, Ashley is in the passenger seat, and she waves at me before her mother yanks her arm down. The kids miss you, Patty says softly. I miss them too, but they're better off without the drama. My security system pings with a notification from the front door camera. Someone has left flowers. Simple wildflowers, no card. Wasn't me, Patty says, but she's smiling. That evening, I teach my coding class, 20 girls eager to learn. No hidden agendas or emotional manipulation. One of them, Sophie, reminds me of myself at that age. Quiet, detail-oriented, determined. My mom says girls aren't good at computers, she tells me after class. My mom used to say similar things, I reply. Want to know a secret? Moms aren't always right. New beginnings. At home, I find an email from Kate. Your father called my office, asked if we could reduce the payments. I reminded him about the court alternative. He hung up. I clicked through my security cameras out of habit. No family members circling today. The street is quiet, my garden peaceful in the evening light. The butterfly bushes I planted to attract new life, new beauty, are finally blooming. My phone lights up with a text from Greg. Heads up, Becky's telling everyone she's writing a book about toxic family betrayal. Thought you'd want to know. I forwarded to Kate, who replies instantly. Let her try. Discovery would be fascinating. The doorbell rings again. This time it's Vanessa with takeout. Thought you might want company. Patty's coming too. We sit in my kitchen in my house that nobody could take from me, and Vanessa raises her glass. To consequences. To boundaries, Patty adds, a lifetime of observing family dysfunction in her knowing smile. To peace. I say, feeling the words settle in my bones, true and right. Later, after they've left, I find a small package on my porch. Inside is a familiar teacup, one I'd admired in Patty's house years ago. The note reads, for new memories. Some family we're born with, some we choose. Love, Patty. I place it carefully in my cabinet next to the coffee mug Sophie had given me, decorated with badly drawn computer symbols. My phone buzzes one last time. Officer Diaz, your sister's car just left the area. didn't stop this time. Progress, maybe? Or maybe they're just tired. Either way, I don't need to know. Their lives aren't my responsibility anymore. I make tea in my new cup and sit in my garden. A butterfly lands on the flowers I planted, its wings opening and closing slowly, at peace in its chosen spot. Inside my house is quiet, not the suffocating quiet of loneliness, but the peaceful quiet of sanctuary. Every room holds traces of my new life. Student projects from my coding class, plants from Vanessa, Patty's little gifts, photos of genuine smiles and real friendships. I think of my mother's final words to me. You're no longer my daughter. The pain is there. Yes, 5 decades of conditioning don't vanish overnight. But alongside it is something else. Relief. If I'm no longer her daughter, then I'm no longer bound by her expectations, her demands, her perpetual disappointment. If I'm no longer her daughter, I'm finally free to be myself. The automatic porch light clicks on, illuminating a small section of garden in its glow. More butterflies gather, drawn to the flowers I've chosen, the space I've created. I watch them dance in the fading light, these beautiful creatures that begin as one thing and transform into another, finding their wings only after the struggle to break free. My phone stays silent. No drama, no demands, no guilt, just peace. And in the end, that is the sweetest revenge of all.